Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, November 2nd, 2020. We're here for the purpose of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council. It's 7:30, and before we get 7:36, and before we get started, I'd like to read a statement. The Governor of the State of Illinois has declared a gubernatorial disaster proclamation in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, restricting individuals to gatherings of 25 persons or less, and all of the city of Elmhurst is covered by the disaster area. In light of the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak, the mayor of the city of Elmhurst has determined that an in-person meeting for November 2nd, 2020 city council meeting may not be practical or prudent in light of the disaster. All of the aldermen of the city council participating in the November 2nd, 2020 city council meeting, wherever their physical location, shall be verified and determined that they can hear one another and can hear all discussion and testimony during the meeting. So before I ask for Clerk Tamer to call the roll, I'm going to check and see. I believe we have two aldermen attending electronically. Alderman Toledo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mayor.
Okay, and one more. Alderman Honquist, can you hear me?
Yes, Mayor, I can hear you.
Okay. Verified that they can hear and we can hear them. I'm going to ask Clerk Tamer to call the roll.
Brennan?
Here.
Mulliner? Here. Deuter?
Here.
Remus? Here. Dunn?
Here.
Graham? Absent. Palumsky?
Here.
Cahill?
Here.
Toledo?
Here.
Hark?
Here.
Levin?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Honquist?
Here.
12 present, 1 absent, 1 vacancy.
12 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum. I now ask you to all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on to agenda item 3, receipt of written communications from the public. At this time, is there anybody in the audience who has any written communications they wish to submit? If so, please raise your hand. Any written communication to submit? Mr. Kopp, just to confirm, we don't have an auxiliary tonight, correct? Okay, seeing none, we will close that portion of our agenda. On to agenda item 4.
Mayor, can I just,
Oh, yeah?
there were 3 that were submitted prior. They're posted on it.
Okay, so we've got 3 submittals that are posted prior to the meeting. On to agenda item 4, public forum. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience or anybody on the phone, if they have followed that protocol, to opine and address the council on any item they so choose. We ask that if you do speak, that you make your way to the microphone and announce your name. Address is optional out of respect for others who may want to speak and respect for work that we have to get done this evening. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, I will give you a gentle reminder and ask you to wrap up. I'd like to go to electronic people first, in case we have a glitch. Mr. Kopp, are you aware of anybody signing up for a public forum electronically this evening? Okay, we still have the channel open, and I will address it at this time. Is there anybody who has called in and wishes to address the council at this time? Hearing none, I'm going to go to Clerk Tamer. Do we have anybody who signed up tonight for public forum?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We have Claude Pagash.
Okay. Mr. Pagash, the floor is yours. I ask you to make your way to the microphone.
Claude Poggett, 566 West Gladys, Elmhurst. I haven't attended as many meetings as I would have liked to, but there have been a few meetings where the council has decided to give authority to the executive to make decisions. Why? Why do we elect our councilmen who have committees that can hold hearings? to hear both sides of why something should be changed. And then have our alderman turn around and say, oh, we'll leave it up to one individual and he can tell us what he did. And really, we don't need 14 aldermen. We don't need their committees. The mayor can just talk to people and decide what he believes should be done. I'd like to see it stopped. That's why you were elected, to make decisions. You may not like to make them, but at least you can hear why they should or shouldn't be. Secondly, there was a meeting about a contract for this building. Something about the cooling system, whatever. Drawings were prepared, sent out. All the bids were rejected. But I come in and find out that somebody picked somebody for the job. That one alderman asked about the cost, why he didn't go back out for bid, were the drawings changed to lower the price. You all just sat there and said, yeah. Do we need the 14? Why didn't anybody ask? And who made that decision? But none of you really cared, did you? You might have heard about the answers in executive session, but that doesn't do the people you represent any good. And it's happened more than once. So maybe you ought to appreciate the position you're in. You represent the people that put you in that chair. And you have an obligation to let them know why you vote the way you do. And when you fail to do it, you fail the very people that you represent.
Mr. Pragash, you're at your 3 minutes. I'd ask you to wrap up your comments, please. Okay. Clerk Tamer, anyone else?
No, Mayor, that's it.
Okay, that's it for public forum for those who signed up. Is there anybody in the audience who did not have an opportunity to sign up on our sign-in sheet before the meeting but wishes to address the council at this time? If so, please identify yourself. Please raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll close public forum. On to agenda item 5, announcements. Any announcements? Any announcements from the dais? Seeing none, we'll go on to a consent agenda. At this time, is there any item any alderman wishes to have removed, to provide further comment, or vote no?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Honquist.
I'd like to pull 6.8.
Okay, 6.8. Anyone else? I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 6.8. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Deuter. Clerk Tamer, please call the vote.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. Can we pull 6.1?
Oh, goodness, that's my issue. Sorry, elected officials. There was a Scrivener's error in the meeting minutes. So we are going to pull 6.1, and we will fix that and repost them for approval next time. Thank you, City Manager. That having been said, I will now entertain a motion to, so we're going to scratch that old motion. Hadn't called the vote yet. Going to ask for a new motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 6.1 and item 6.8. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Deuter. Clerk Tamer.
Brennan.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Farimas. Dunn.
Aye.
Graham. Oh, absent. Palumsky.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Levin. Kennedy.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays. Consent agenda minus items 6.1 and 6.8 is approved. 6.1, we're pulling that back to correct the error in it. So on to 6.8. This is a report out of Public Affairs and Safety. I would ask Clerk Tamer to read the recommendation.
It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Affairs and Safety Committee that the city attorney be authorized to prepare the appropriate ordinance to provide the availability of a Class SPR liquor license for Brew Point Workshop and Roastery located at 617 North York Street. Signed, Danny Plumsky, Chair, Marty Deuter, Vice Chair, and Alderwoman Tina Park, Ward 5.
Okay, to put this before council, I'll ask for a motion to approve the report and recommendation as read. Motion by Alderman Palomsky, second by Alderman Deuter. Alderman Palomsky, this is your report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to defer to Alderman Honquist to pull this report.
Okay, Alderman Honquist, you had this pulled. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just pulling this tonight to vote no. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Alderman Palomsky.
Sure. I'll just give a little background. This is following an amendment to the municipal code in which we have this classification of SPR. It was originally put in place to allow for coffee shops to sell spirits. It was modified also on the consent agenda to include beer and wine. So it wasn't going from beer and wine to spirits or just to create this all together. It was an existing class. So that's been amended, and this is a new holder, Brew Point Coffee, and its address. Liquor licenses are granted per address, so it's not that one entity can use it at multiple places. So this is for the 617 North York Street location. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Alderman Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would assume that everyone that's going to be serving alcohol there has to go through the certification process, whatever that's called.
Bassett, Alderman Palomsky?
Yes, everyone will have to complete the BASA training. When this business or other businesses have held events in the past when they didn't have their own liquor license, that when they would bring in a caterer, even the caterers have to have BASA training. So yes, to your answer.
Okay, any other questions? Clerk Tamer, I'd ask you to call the vote on the motion before us.
Brennan?
Aye.
Mulliner?
Aye.
Deuter?
Aye.
Paramus? Dunn?
Aye.
Graham absent. Palumsky?
Aye.
Cahill?
Aye.
Toledo?
Aye.
Park?
Aye.
Levin?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Honquist?
No.
It's 11 ayes, 1 nay, 1 absent.
11 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. Agenda item 6.8 is approved. On to agenda item 7, reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. 7.1, Mayor Morley. That's me. 2 quick points, or 2 quick notes. One is, I believe council's aware, but I actually did invoke my executive authority and issue an executive order last week. As council is aware, our governor of our state still has retained executive authority, and last week he made a decision to further restrict how restaurants could operate in the city of Elmhurst, restaurants and some other businesses. And I took the opportunity shortly thereafter the governor's announcement. I know that myself, elected officials, and staff here at City Hall fielded numerous phone calls from local businesses that were going to be directly impacted, trying to figure out what they could do, what they couldn't do, what was allowed, what wasn't allowed. We have a lot of businesses that are doing everything that they can to survive at this point, and quite frankly, some of them aren't surviving. I thought it was the very least that I could do was to issue an executive order to suspend the collection of some fees that the city of Elmhurst is charging these folks. Council's also aware that in the past, not too distant past, when our restaurants were shut down, the Public Affairs and Safety Committee issued a report and recommended, and was ultimately supported by the council, that liquor license fees were given a 2-month credit. So just to be clear, I thought it was kind of a pressure release. These restaurants are under enough pressure the way it is. The least I could do was to suspend the collection of those fees. But depending on how long these businesses are affected and how long the governor's executive order is in place, it really will be for the rest of the council and back to the Public Affairs and Safety Committee to evaluate how our businesses were impacted and should there be any credits. So I did issue an executive order. I wanted to reiterate my reasons for doing so. I appreciate the council's trust in allowing me to do so. I don't take it lightly. And that's what I did. Second, immediately following this meeting, we will have a committee of the whole to continue to discuss our budget. And that's it for me. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, 2 quick items. This week is the first of 2 free leaf pickups for residents, so they will be picked up with your garbage on the regular day. And we have a second one the first week of December. Second item I have is we have the pumpkin collection that has collected hundreds of tons of pumpkins in the past at the Public Works Garage this Saturday from 9 to 12. Important to get them there so that we can use them as compost and back in the fields. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, any other reports or recommendations from any of the elected officials? Alderman Dunn.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick update, we had with the O'Hare Noise Commission, we had a Fly Quiet meeting last Tuesday, and right now there's 3 different rotation patterns that were proposed and being considered. There were 4 additional ones thrown in last week, and 3 were rather quickly voted down, and so there's 4 left. The one new one that's left is one that's relying on the diagonals every other week, so that wouldn't be favorable for Elmhurst. But a little disappointed in the process last week in having 3 of those rotation patterns voted down. Sat in on the ONCC Executive Committee meeting this morning. So some of that, the procedures of the Fly Quiet meeting were discussed, and trying to correct the perception of that, how that meeting was managed. They're also working on a new IGA for the new intergovernmental agreement for the ONCC. The one that's currently in effect is expiring, so that's something else that's going on with the ONCC. That's it.
Okay, any other reports? Seeing none, we'll go on to agenda item 8, which is a resolution. I'd ask Clerk Tamer to read the resolution.
A resolution authorizing the purchase of bicycle equipment. See item 6.13.
Okay, to put this before council, I ask for a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Brennan. Alderman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you saw in the original report that was on the consent agenda, we're asking to approve the ordinance tonight because of the need to get this into IDOT's hands so they can approve within the 45 days for this program.
Okay, any other comments? Alderman Dunn.
Just a quick question. The total on the that's shown on the report, is that the aggregate for all the communities, or was that just our share? I was not able to discern that.
Alderman Kennedy.
I believe that was the total, and then it will be split between the individual municipalities.
It's the aggregate. Okay, any other questions? Clerk Tamer.
Brennan,
Aye.
Mulliner,
Aye.
Joyder,
Aye.
Verimus, Dunn,
Aye.
Graham absent, Palumski,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Toledo,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Levin,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Conquest,
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Agenda item 8.1 is approved. On to agenda item 9, other business. Any other business? Don, before I ask for an adjournment, there's no reason why Alderman Conquest and Toledo can just stay on the phone between meetings?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn, but I will remind council that we're going to take about 5 minutes, give staff the time to set up, and we'll start committee of the whole as soon as possible, so do not stray. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Kennedy, second by Alderman Cahill. All in favor say aye. Oh, no, we got people on the phone, so I'm going to do a roll call vote. Clerk Tamer.
Brennan,
Aye.
Mulliner,
Aye.
Joyder,
Aye.
Verimus, Dunn,
Aye.
Graham absent, Palumski,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Toledo,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Levin,
Aye.
Kennedy,
Aye.
Conquest,
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. We are adjourned. We'll see you in about 5 minutes.